Hello and welcome. Today we are diving deep into two of the most fascinating and, let's be honest, maybe the most confusing books in the Bible, Daniel and Revelation. We're going to explore how they aren't two separate stories, but really a single, deeply interconnected prophetic narrative. You know, the Bible really can feel like a giant puzzle sometimes, and for a lot of people, the apocalyptic visions in Daniel and Revelation are the pieces that just don't seem to fit anywhere. They're filled with all these strange symbols, these terrifying beasts, and language that can feel, well, pretty intimidating. But what if there's a key to unlock it all? What if one book was actually written to help us make sense of the other? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. We'll see how these books are counterparts, explore the prophetic language they share, and figure out what their unified message means for us right now. Okay, so first things first, we've got to get this core concept down. Daniel and Revelation are not isolated books. They're what you might call narrative counterparts, and to really grasp what's going on, you have to study them together. Think about it like this. Revelation isn't just some strange, standalone book tacked on to the end of the Bible. I mean, it's packed with over 500, that's 500, references to the Old Testament. It picks up themes that Daniel set in motion centuries earlier. It's like Daniel wrote the first act of the play, and Revelation is the grand, dramatic finale. So here's the crucial point. If you really want to understand Revelation, you first have to understand the prophetic language it's speaking. And that language, it's rooted deep in the Old Testament, especially in the book of Daniel. You see, both of these books fall into a specific genre we call apocalyptic literature. Now, this style of writing usually popped up during really tough times, during times of intense pressure and persecution, and its purpose was always to give hope. It was meant to pull back the curtain on reality and reveal that, hey, God is still sovereign, even when it looks like evil is winning. And Daniel basically gives us the dictionary for this symbolic language. In Daniel chapter 7, we're told flat out that beasts represent kings or kingdoms. Then, centuries later, in Revelation 17, John confirms another one, saying that the waters, or the sea, represent peoples, multitudes, and nations. So once we start identifying these foundational symbols, we can begin to decode the really complex visions that John lays out. All right, so let's put this into practice. We're going to move to our first case study and see how this works with one of the most famous apocalyptic images of all, the beasts. So in Daniel's vision, he sees these four distinct, absolutely terrifying beasts climbing one after another out of the sea. The book itself identifies these as a historical succession of world powers, basically four huge empires that would rise and fall over hundreds of years. Okay, now watch this. Pay close attention to how John, writing Revelation, reuses this imagery. He doesn't just repeat what Daniel saw, he completely transforms it. This is just brilliant, and it shows you John's method. In Revelation 13, he sees a single beast rise from the sea, and get this, it has the body of a leopard, the feet of a bear, and the mouth of a lion. He takes all of Daniel's prophetic history, all those separate empires, and squishes them together into one final, ultimate symbol of worldly opposition to God. It's not a sequence anymore, it's a terrifying all-in-one culmination. Now, this technique of weaving together Old Testament symbols gets even more complex and, honestly, even more profound when we look at John's vision of the risen Christ. This isn't just combining a few images. This is a masterful portrait painted entirely with Scripture. A lot of commentators describe what John does here as creating a kaleidoscope of Old Testament images. I love that description. He isn't just quoting a single passage here. He's pulling from Daniel, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Zechariah. He's creating this incredible theological mosaic. And it's not just for literary effect. It's a profound claim about who Jesus is, showing him as the fulfillment of all these scriptures all at once. So let's break this down. John calls Jesus one like a son of man. That's a direct callback to the messianic figure in Daniel 7. But then, get this. He gives this figure white hair, which in that same chapter of Daniel is a description of God the Father, the Ancient of Days. His eyes and feet are pulled from the vision of the heavenly man in Daniel 10. That two-edged sword coming from his mouth, that comes from Isaiah's prophecies about a messianic judge. It's just masterful. John is attributing characteristics of God the Father, of heavenly beings, and multiple messianic prophecies directly to Jesus. The message is crystal clear. Jesus is the ultimate fulfillment of all of it. Okay, so when we read these books together, when we see all this shared language and imagery, what's the big theme? What's the unifying message that emerges from all this? Well, it's the story of a great cosmic conflict. It's really a tale of two kingdoms. On one side, you've got the rise and fall of earthly kingdoms, right? Symbolized by these beasts who have temporary, violent power. But on the other side, you have the absolute, ultimate sovereignty of God. His kingdom, given to the Son of Man, is an everlasting dominion. It will never be destroyed, and his people, they will be vindicated. Now, I know this can all seem like really ancient, symbolic history. So the big question is, why does any of this matter for us, living our lives right here, right now? Because the central message is one of profound and ultimate hope. It's this deep reassurance of God's sovereignty in a world where, let's face it, evil often seems to be winning. This wasn't just for the original audience. It gives us a powerful framework for navigating our own times. I mean, the message of these books speaks so powerfully into our modern world. To anyone who feels oppressed, it's a declaration that God is in control and that a future is coming where justice will finally reign. To those who wield power unjustly, it's a stark warning of coming judgment. And for every single one of us, it's an anchor of hope, a profound assurance that no matter how chaotic things look, evil does not get the final word. History is actually heading somewhere with a divine purpose. And so we'll finish with this thought. This complex, interwoven prophecy, it's not just an intellectual puzzle for us to solve. It's a powerful, practical story of enduring hope. So the question for us is, how does knowing the end of the story give us courage for the chapter we're living in right now?